entrepreneur. I know a lot of you wonder what to do with your moon pies. Well, I've got some wine suggestions for you. Lemon moon pies, Sauvignon Blanc, Chenin Blanc.
Not that close, Davey, but yeah.
Stuart Reb Donald, acclaimed food and travel writer and world-class chef. I was the chef de casserole. I made the casseroles and the frozen food.
Inside jokes.
Sure. For more than a decade, they've combined their expertise to answer your questions and introduce you to the culinary movers and shakers you want or ought to know. 4-time Taste Award finalists, 12-time Nephew Award losers. They are the dynamic duo of dining.
Drop, keep screaming for more.
Mike and Stu on FM Talk 106.5.
Dragon wine.
Hey, wine slowly later.
Very good song.
How ironic that song comes on after we just had our conversation off there that we just had. Anyway, welcome to the Sip and Chew Show.
I'm Sip.
I'm
I got you.
Hey, don't mess me up like that. But anyway, hey, but it's starting out to be a warm, beautiful Sunday morning. It was started yesterday, anyway. Started like that, and then
we got relief.
Yes, we did. More relief than I wanted last night because we were trying
all
to
these
get
people
somewhere.
Complaining about this rain. You live in the rainiest city in America. It does this every single year.
Amen. Yeah,
if it doesn't, it's a drought.
Yeah, well.
And 2, enjoy it while you can, because that August power bill, when we don't get a drop of rain, it's going to be about 4 times what you're paying right now.
Oh yeah, ours is high right now anyway.
Over 6 inches so far. Almost 7 inches in just this month alone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. This is when I was a kid, playing baseball at Matthews Park right over here. We used to get so upset because it would rain every afternoon, and all our games kept getting canceled or postponed or rescheduled, and it was impossible to have a regular season.
Because there's nothing worse than having a baseball season extended.
Or nowadays, especially. I'm just not.
It just keeps
not the
hotter.
fan. Yeah. It seems like it just keeps getting hotter. So I remember playing football for Davidson, and we get out there in August morning. The coach said we do 2 days, and Coach Slowpound would say, do not eat breakfast before you come to practice, because you're going to be doing push-ups in your breakfast if you do.
Exactly.
And I learned the first day, and he could tell who all ate breakfast that morning.
And they used to tell y'all back then too to put your leather helmet in the freezer overnight. It'd be cooler than that.
Well, actually, Davidson High School had the alcohol pack helmets. They had the pads of alcohol in there and to keep you cooler. And we had clear acrylic helmets that were painted on the inside, and then they had alcohol pads up in there to keep our brains cooler. And
doesn't help.
Stop the Dane damage.
It doesn't help.
But anyway, we learned not to eat breakfast in the morning, and then we ate breakfast after we got home, and then we'd come back at 3 or 4 in the afternoon and have afternoon breakfast.
I'm a rare breakfast person anyway. I even to this day.
I've gotten that way. Yeah, I've gotten
I
that
don't
way.
do it.
Well, it's very unhealthy. Enjoy yourself.
Well, when I fast, I'd rather have lunch.
I disagree with
and
for me,
not have
for
dinner.
Me, it works.
It was always worked for me. I went for years without ever eating breakfast.
Yeah, so did I, till I had an accident and my body needed that sugar to heal, and I almost passed out driving down the road.
Sure. I mean, again,
and that's why the doctor said eat breakfast every morning.
Yeah, everybody's different.
Exactly.
No, anybody that would have went through what I went through.
Well,
yeah, but that circumstance called for it.
Yeah,
I don't.
But you never know when you're going to be injured.
When I used to eat breakfast regularly, I had to eat all day.
Knocking on wood now, thanks to
I had to eat all day. I kept getting hungry all day. But when I finally stopped eating breakfast and just had a reasonable lunch and a reasonable dinner, I did fine.
That's what I was kind of getting at is, I'll nibble. I'm a bird. My mom said, you eat like a bird all day long. So I eat some grapes in the morning. Or
and I don't eat a huge breakfast. It's
Yeah. usually
yogurt, a little bit of fruit, and some granola.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah, I do that. But it's not a layout like, hey, I got to have eggs and 20 pancakes.
Unless you're working outside,
Yeah.
The way we all used to 100 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
That should be your biggest meal of the day if you're one of those people.
Oh, I agree. I agree with that.
Yeah. You want all your carbohydrates on the first meal of the day.
Yeah. Burn
You
them
want
off.
a high carbohydrate diet.
Yeah.
If you're working, actually working. Which
Physical.
brings up the difference between having a job and working. Steve, where he has a job here, he doesn't work. And do you know how I know that? Because he's sitting down. Work, its base definition is the burning of calories through exertion.
Okay. Where
So-
does this, where
so
does
working is-
job fit in with mental? Because this is a mental job.
That's another thing that people always say, well, my job is mentally taxing. No more so than anyone who's on their feet using their hands. Hand-eye coordination takes more of your brain power than reading an email.
What about you getting in and out of your pickup truck?
That's all I do.
80
No,
times?
no. But what I'm saying
Get
is,
into it here, buddy. Now.
well, what I'm saying is, no matter how
Videotape this, it could go viral.
no matter how mentally taxing your job is, if you're not doing it on the person that's doing a job on their feet,
Mhm.
their job is every bit as mentally taxing as anyone who sits at a desk. Plus, they're on their feet and they're having to add feet and hands.
I would agree with
Yeah.
that. That's why they call
That's
it.
why I said, that's why I said there's a difference between a job and work.
Yeah.
A job sitting down, that's what you want.
Well, when
You don't have to work.
when you go to the
Yeah.
gym, you don't do a job out. You do a workout.
Right,
And
exactly.
that's where
Yeah,
I earn
it's
my
burning
calories.
calories. Right. Yeah, but yeah.
You just-
I'm not saying you don't, that you're not contributing and that you're not earning and efforting. I'm just
I
saying,
know.
if it's a job where you sit down predominantly, it's not work.
But isn't that the most common definition is when people get
Yeah.
approached, they get all defensive. It's like, stop, it's a logical
Well, see,
thing.
You know, words have specific meanings.
Imagine that.
Just because this is a synonym for that doesn't mean they have the same meaning. It
Exactly.
means it's close enough a definition that a writer or a poet can use it instead.
Like rational and justified. You'd be surprised how often people freaking use the interchangeably. And it's like, no, they mean different things.
Yeah.
You
Exactly.
can't
Words have
justify
meaning.
yourself.
And I bring that back into food because here in America, we call a lot of stuff the wrong thing.
Oh, gosh.
Like it's
Champagne,
not
like champagne.
yeah,
What is-
Exactly.
in
Great
mine,
example.
Champagne.
there are no hibachi grills in America.
Yeah, like cookies.
Yeah, it's not a restaurant.
Right.
That's a teppanyaki. Hibachi is a small thing that goes on your table.
A teppanyaki.
Yeah, teppanyaki is what the
grill,
Japanese
that
steakhouse is
grill.
called.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's and we call things like that all the time. And I've had people go, well, why do the Japanese restaurants call it that? They know what the language is. There aren't hardly any Japanese restaurants owned by Japanese. In this town, pretty much every Asian restaurant is owned by someone who's Vietnamese, Cambodian, or Thai.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They know that we are too dumb to know the difference.
It's called Americanized.
Yeah.
Right.
And speaking that, I was just talking to Michael before we went on air. Opening up soon is going to be a banh mi restaurant. Now, there are restaurants that serve banh mi, the famous Vietnamese sub po' boy is what they call them in New Orleans, Vietnamese po' boy.
Ah,
But there are restaurants who serve it, but this one's going to specialize in it, which means you can go in and get a banh mi with like one of a dozen different proteins on
oh, very cool.
it. And
What is the bread that's served on?
it is French bread. That's,
Okay, I'm sorry.
this is one of the
It's a
earliest
po' boy.
fusion dishes.
Well, what's that little folded thing that looks like it's angel food cake? It's so fluffy and
Oh, you're talking about the until you asked me, I could have said it. But I know, yeah,
I tell you about. Oh,
yeah. It's the steamed buns, but they have a name.
they're really white.
Yeah, they're steamed, but that's because that bread is steamed, not baked in an oven. So there's no browning to go on. I'm just drawing a blank to the name. So Mike, say something and I'll look it up.
Well,
Something-
talking about jobs, and not jobs.
Bao buns. There
Bao
we go.
buns. Okay.
What's it called?
Bao buns.
Spell it.
BAO.
Bao.
Yeah. And then buns is American.
Bao buns. Okay.
So it's probably just bao over there.
Mhm.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And is
But
it fluffy?
It looks
Very
like
light
angel
in
food cake. It looks
because
like
it's
angel food
steam,
cake.
the steam makes it rise
Right.
instead of
Yeah.
a yeast reaction like in regular bread.
Uh-huh.
So it's very light and airy, almost no flavor. I'm believing that, but what you put in it. Try squid ink. They usually have some bao
Mhm.
buns
Yeah.
going on there.
Well, I see them there.
And,
place up at too.
What's the noodle place? Slurp Society.
Slurp Society.
That you can get them there.
251-343-0106 is the call in and text in line. Love to hear from you. Okay. Go into Shotgun Barbecue the other day. Yeah, Paul did up on it. They got they bought
This a show? No problem. Podcasts of your favorite FM Talk 1065 shows are waiting for you right now at FMTalk1065.com. And never miss a minute of the best in local talk when you subscribe to FM Talk 1065 on iTunes or Stitcher.
For more than 50 years, Mobile Bay Magazine has showcased the history, style, arts, dining, and entertainment that defines excellence on both sides of Mobile Bay.
So anyway,
Each month's issue is
I said,
filled with our
what's going on?
unique Southern Alabama culture, beautifully captured and told through engaging articles and stunning photography. When you subscribe to Mobile Bay Magazine, you'll be swept into the pages where recipes, familiar places, and faces and untold stories abound. Start your journey today by visiting mobilebaymag.com. That's mobilebaymag.com.
It's time for a checkup Monday
If
at
you look
1:50
at Bo
when
Bun,
Sean
you get
talks
this one
with
with the
Robin
bow on
Riggins,
the bottom.
clinician at Alta Point. He'll talk about advanced treatments for treating depression. Don't miss this
It's a BOW,
conversation.
right?
It's time for
BAO.
a checkup Monday at
Oh, yeah,
1:50
yeah,
on FM
yeah.
Talk 1065.
We weren't sure adoption would happen
There.
for us, but when it did, it happened threefold. Mary
Also
and her
pronounced
husband
Bo.
first met their 3 children
All
when
about
they
Americans.
became their foster parents.
Because
Little did they know
it's gotta be
their house
Vietnamese,
would become the
'cause
siblings
the kid who goes
forever.
by Jimmy
We
is
had
the
to help
nail
them
salon.
adjust to the idea
His
that they
real
wouldn't
name
have to leave.
It's Bub.
Children in
But
foster
whenever
care
they get
have
within Al,
lived and survived
Yeah,
so
well, you know,
much.
it's
We had to help
originated in
them
China, so it's
process
Bao.
their trauma. And
But anyway,
now
I
to hear
told them, I
children
said, yeah,
say
they're-
that they
I
know
don't
they
know how they
have
get their
a
money, where
mother
they get
and
their money,
father who
but,
take care of us,
they're
teach us, and
always
love us,
closing deals here and there in
means
those things.
everything. The
She
Dave
said, well, he
Thomas
just
Foundation
come-
for
he just come
Adoption
call me off
is
on
committed
this.
to finding
Yeah,
safe,
they- he
permanent
said,
homes
I ain't got
for
nowhere
the
to put them.
longest waiting children
Summertime.
in foster
All the-
care.
all the other
And not
fish
only love
guys,
these kids, I
other
am just
places
so
are
proud of them.
packed already.
You can help. Visit
Anyway,
DaveThomasFoundation.org.
it's a dumpling with nothing in it.
It's how you encourage people to buy your products, services, or ideas.
Just make it
Imagine
into a
being
bread
handed a
and fold it
microphone
like a
to speak in front of a stadium of 30,000 people. What would you say about your business?
Yeah, they're not good
FM
people.
Talk 1065 can put you in front of that audience. This is Celeste
Who
Holmes.
the fucking
Together,
fear
we
God
create
into a
an
one
effective
time
advertising
when
campaign.
general
Our
manager
listeners are
came
eager
over and
for
said,
information.
you know,
Trust our station
Vaughn's
and
watching you
prefer
on the cameras
patronize
the whole
local
time.
businesses like yours.
Yeah, I know.
Phone at
We're not doing anything.
445-7249.
And she
And
can
let's
hear
talk
everything you
about
say. I
how
said,
FM
it is
Talk
illegal to
1065 can
record
help
the
increase
conversation.
your business.
I said, that's a federal law. Did you really just say she's hearing what we're saying? Is that what just came out of your mouth? No, no.
Hearing is,
You don't have to board it out my permission. You can't.
Yeah.
hearing it, recording
This
it.
complete network
We used to have to do it on the air.
every Wednesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. on FM Talk 1065.
Yeah.
Your voice of the veterans for the veterans.
I got into trouble with that one.
Sound off like you got a pair. Hoorah.
Hoorah.
Mike Bailey, Stuart Rebs Donald, devoted to the complete gastronomic experience.
I want a big butter and egg man.
Mike and Stu on FM Talk 1065.
So Stu,
Yes, sir.
sad news in the culinary gastronomic world the other
Absolutely.
day. I loved watching her when she came on the scene on Food Network, and you know, not as it's I'm not downsizing her death in any way, but you know,
You want to mention her name so that people know who you're
I'm
talking
sorry,
about?
Ann Burrell.
Yeah,
And-
Food Network fact.
Yeah, and she had the big spiked white hair.
Yeah.
And she was
Looked like Guy Fieri's twin sister.
Could have been.
Yeah.
Could have been. But you know, it was sad that that happened. You know, to me, losing Anthony Bourdain and Charlie Trotter and all them were devastating, like it was. But she was it was a great loss for the culinary world because she really changed things at the network, I think, for the good. And she was fun and she was sassy, and I hate to see her go. Really did, and that's sad.
And her motto was brown food tastes good.
What was it?
Brown food tastes good.
I
It
like-
doesn't look pretty on a plate in a high-end restaurant in New York, but a piece of brown chicken with some brown gravy and a brown biscuit
Mhm.
tastes good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was the emphasis. Her thing was one of the things that she introduced me to was fennel pollen to coat pork chops in and then grill them.
Well, you know what? Fennel pollen.
Pollen from fennel.
Well, I'm having pork chops tonight, and I was going to do.
Good luck finding some fennel pollen.
Well, I've got fennel.
Yeah.
Fennel seed.
Yeah. Not the same thing, but you could grind it and put it into a rub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's I was thinking it, but a brown gravy.
Yeah. But
over rice.
Yeah. And fennel pairs really well with a pork.
Mm-hmm.
Also seafood. I'd gotten into it. I did a seafood dish called pesce infanati, which is Sicilian, and it's usually just fish baked on top of onions drizzled with olive oil and some herbs, and I saw a variation where you could slice fennel bulb. So I did fennel bulb and the onion, and you kind of brown off the fennel bulb and the onion first, then lay the fish fillets on top of it, put it in the oven about 20 minutes. And when it comes out, you drizzle it with a little more olive oil, and it's terrific. It's very healthy, but Sicily is an island off the coast of Italy. So most of their cuisine is seafood.
Yeah.
Sicilian style, with the one thing that they're known for that isn't seafood is deep dish pizza. When Pizza Hut first came out with their pan pizza, they called it Sicilian style. Mm-hmm. That was the only place in Italy where you had pizza that wasn't thin crust.
Right.
And but there's a lot of names that we've heard going back to what we were talking about in the last section. One of them is Parmesan. And people hear veal or chicken or eggplant Parmesan, and they think that means it has Parmesan cheese on it. Mm-hmm. It doesn't. It has mozzarella. It's called Parmesan because it comes from the Parma region of Italy, which is where Parmesan Reggiano cheese comes from.
My favorite.
Parmesan means in the style that they do in Parma.
Right.
Florentine. We've all heard Florentine. We think, oh, that means spinach, which is basically what we're doing. Spinach is a huge dish in the Florence region of Italy. So that is whatever you're doing in the Florentine style by adding spinach to it.
That being said, in France,
yes,
Merlot, Cabernet, Malbec, whatever that's grown in Bordeaux is Bordeaux.
Right.
Not Cabernet.
Not known by the varietal, they're known by the region.
By the region. There is only, I'll have to think of the grape, I forget that. There's only one grape that comes out of there that the town is named after the grape instead of the grape being named the other way around. I'll remember what it is.
But with Italian wines, it's different, isn't it? Because there's not a Chianti region.
They would think.
And that's a Sangiovese grape.
Well, it's that primarily, Sangiovese, but
we sounded all saying Sangiovese.
You got the Italians went crazy with their cross pollination and grafting and all that of their damn grapes, and they got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of varietals that are like a Frankenstein monster, some of them, because they just put pieces of this, that, and they graft them, and they
so in essence, everything's a blend.
Hybrid them, and it comes from the plant that way. So
right, but I'm saying, but
they altered the genetics
what you do
on
is
the plant.
You start your blend on the seed.
Yeah, and it's like
I enjoy
I can't keep up with how many different styles of wine they have, varietals. Unbelievable. Yeah. Unbelievable. They confuse me more than anything.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. I didn't know that the regionality applied to wines as well. I knew it applied to foods.
Right.
Well, it does in France.
Right. Different cultures here.
Yeah.
Similar, but both Latin based. The Italians taught the French how to cook. Their food in France was terrible before some French aristocrat married one of the
Italian aristocrats.
Yeah, Catherine de Medici, the de Medici family, which employed Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo, and all the Ninja Turtles worked for this one family. And when Catherine de Medici went to France, she found the food horrible. The French will say That's not what happened.
You could say that.
But everyone else knows. She got there, said the food was terrible, brought some Italian chefs over, and they helped France turn into.
But doesn't
So
China?
the French food was in the sewer, is what we're saying virtually.
No, it was just more like England.
Doesn't China?
It's food to sustain, not
Yeah.
food to taste good.
But isn't Chinese food, doesn't it have a great influence of France?
The other way around. Chinese influences everything in
I
Europe.
don't know. I've been watching Confucius. The show
Vietnam
Confucius.
is the huge French influence on the Asian cuisine. We were talking about that, the banh mi. Banh is French word for bread.
And Anthony Bourdain, I think he loved Vietnam more than anywhere on earth except for New Orleans.
My interactions with Vietnamese people, they're the best people on earth. They are what Americans are supposed to be. Hardworking. They care about their kids. They care about their education. They just do things. They just, they got to work 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. They
It's
don't
called
sweat
a
it.
core of values is what that's called.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's why they are doing so well achieving the American dream, is because they're attending to the core values that this country was built on.
Well, the model that was established, and then
Right.
we kind of went a different way, right?
Right. But banh mi, what I was talking about, is fusion. That is the idea of a sandwich on bread that came from France,
Mhm.
and the ingredients are Vietnamese, with the exception of one ingredient, pork pate, used as a condiment, spread on the bread, and then whatever you're. And a lot of times they won't put any protein in; it's just the pate and all the vegetables. But
So what's that pate made of?
pork liver.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just standard pork liver pate.
Mhm.
Nothing
What
special.
goes into pate? Is there an oil that you mix with that? Or?
It is I have made beef liver pate before, and as I recall, it was a long time ago. And Simon Majumdar pointed out I left out two key ingredients. But generally, it's a slow cook on the beef, on the liver.
Uh-huh.
You mash it all up. You tend to add a little cream to it,
Okay.
which I forgot, and cognac, which I forgot. But I had the mashed up liver thing, and it just had a really strong beef liver.
In the average household, we just don't have a bottle of cognac sitting around.
No, you don't. But
Or if you do, you gotta have
But
it
I was
30
the
years.
chef at a pub. I had
Yeah.
access to cognac, and it was a dish I was doing representing the pub. So I had it. I just forgot to put it in
Oh, okay.
because I had 5 different recipes I was throwing together, or components that I was having to throw together for this challenge that we were doing,
Mhm.
and that was, those things slipped through the cracks.
It can happen.
That's why things like Iron Chef are really, really hard.
Yeah.
It's because
They make it look easy, but it ain't.
Yeah. And it's different than what you saw. It's not really. They have an hour, that time limit. That's to cook one presentation dish.
Right.
Once they do the presentation dish, then they go to the kitchens and they cook the dishes that go to the judges. So instead of it being an hour or 2 taping, it's all day to do a 1-hour episode.
It's
Oh,
easy
wow.
to forget things. Stu will vouch for this. In a gumbo competition, I forgot to put okra in my gumbo.
Oh,
Got
you
disqualified.
cardinal
DQ.
sin, man.
DQ.
Well, it was the alternative category,
Well, you alternated, yeah.
but I could have won the butterbean category.
Yeah.
Butterbean gumbo
You should have put on there that it was butterbean shaped okra.
identifies.
It's butterbeans that identify.
It identifies.
There you go.
I mess up. 251-340-106 is the call and text line. Somebody, please.
Holler at it.
I know you're not at the beach right now already this soon.
Twitter. Sheila.
Board your dog at Waller Canine and
So
Theater.
you do.
8x12 kennel stalls, cozy cots and blankets, and daily exercise with friendly dogs on our 80-acre campus. A safe, social stay that your dog will love. Reserve now at wallercanine.com.
FM Talk 106.5.
Load them up with plenty of vegetables.
And Dr. Bill
Nice cold
Williams.
crisp vegetables.
Also, should expect mostly sunny skies today.
I'm serious, man. It was all I could do not to get a burger last night. I'd already had 2
showers and thunderstorms.
I can eat a burger every day, never get tired.
Today,
Now I can't eat the same burger.
showers and thunderstorms.
Heavy
Highs
food
low
right now,
90s. It's the meteorologist Dr. Bill Williams.
FM Talk 1065, the Gulf Coast Weather Authority.
Folks looking for
Man,
an
all
extra
your Asian
spending
noodle
money, trying to
dishes.
sell the vehicle. McConnell Automotive will buy that vehicle.
You can get
251-476-4141.
Ross,
Don't matter if it's got 100,000 miles, 200,000 miles. We're buying everything. We need inventory.
and a
We'll take
bit
care of it
of
for you.
Asian
McConnellautomotive.com.
market.
Imagine working for a
Permanent
company where
partner.
your ideas
So you
matter,
can make
and you're not
fun
just
at home
delivering
and
the
not have to
product.
go through 3-day
FM Talk
ordeal to
1065
make
is
phone
looking
right.
for driven, persuasive
Which is how
sales
long that
associates
process
to connect to local
took.
businesses with our local audience. This commission-based role
And
offers
that's what
flexibility,
bothers me.
the chance to develop
It was
smart
water
marketing,
with a
and
little
the
sack
ability to
with all
grow
the
your
spices.
sales
Just
goals.
threw it in there.
Imagine working with
Piece
a
of iron
small,
around
passionate,
ready.
and locally owned
Then
team.
boil it.
Email your resume to info@fmtalk1065.com. Bigler Broadcast LLC is an equal opportunity employer.
Attention Medicare beneficiaries. Are you getting all the benefits you need? If you have Medicare, you may now be able to get new benefits. Benefits may include eyeglasses, wellness visits, gym membership, meal
You should have
delivery,
started
and
asking
rebates
Mike
with
this
low
question
copay.
12 years
To
ago.
find out which benefits
That's
you
how long
qualify
it would take
for
to
and
get
to
you
find
to
out if you're
places.
getting the benefits that
I'm
you
just looking
deserve,
for 2 or
you
3
need to
of
call
them,
Best
Sunset
Medicare.
Grill
Our licensed
and
insurance
Waterfront.
agents can look at your current benefits
Sunset
and
Grill,
tell you
Waterfront,
what
both at
additional
EDP
benefits are available
restaurants,
to you.
one's at
It's
Fairhope,
easy.
one's at
Just one call.
Daphne.
Tell us the deductibles
Both
you
of
prefer,
them
the doctors you want to
celebrate
see,
the
and if you want
sunset with
prescription
ringing the
drug
bell and the
coverage. The
tones.
service is
Oh, very
free
cool.
and you
Lots
have
of
no
outdoor
obligation. You may
seating.
even find
Those
plans
would be
with
my
zero
2
monthly
favorites.
plan premiums, zero copays on many services, and
Sunset
zero
Grill and the
deductibles.
Waterfront.
You
And
deserve
Waterfront.
every medical care coverage benefit out there, and we'll help you get them.
Felix has had a good view of Sunset, but the food is just
800-431-6905. That's
one of the guys that works they had
800-431-6905.
changed their
And
menu
let Best
30
Medicare
years.
do the work for you.
Black and redfish is still highlighting their menu. You are out of touch.
Sweet Home Canabama, brought to you by Canabama in downtown Mobile, and sponsored by Dopey Distribution, answering your questions with accurate information
Yes.
and dispelling the myths of cannabis.
Yeah,
Featuring
at
guests
Sunset
from every
Point,
corner of the
you're in
cannabis
a
industry.
street off the
Check
bank.
Canabama.com
So you've got this
and
V
email
shape
comments to
of the land opening up, and then the sun drops
Join
in.
Jennifer Boozer Monday at
Like
7
the
for Sweet
waterfront.
Home
We have
Canabama on
unobstructed
FM
view
Talk
from the interstate all the way
1065.
down.
Also, the American Legion 199.
Yeah.
Decade.
Tiki bar down at the
Listen
beach.
to
That's
Mike Stu on FM Talk
What do we talk about?
1065.
Yeah, good stuff.
Okay.
Well, our buddy Steve here, our producer,
Mhm.
asked a question of us because he has, I believe he said your brother is coming down. Cousin is coming down. Did you say in August?
Coming around October from Key West.
Oh,
She's from
okay.
Key West, yeah.
Okay.
So she's going to be hard to impress.
Look, we'll do our best, man. We'll do our best. But this is something that is very topical for this time of year, and that's places to dine on the water.
Right.
And so we both suggested 2 of Panini Pete's places, Sunset Point and the waterfront. Both are awesome food, great views with the water and everything but there's a whole lot more.
There is that.
There is indeed. You're more familiar with the places in Baldwin County, but Floribama would get a good view. Anything on
Anything
Fort
on the
Morgan.
beach.
Anything on Fort Morgan.
Now, as far as it's across from Gambino's there in Fairhope, but the American Legion 199, they have shows, music shows,
Nice little beach there.
concerts, very nice beach, great view of the sunset, especially in the fall. Oh my God! And as any place, you've got
You got the Pier and Furo too. What is that restaurant right there? And
Is there one currently
Yeah,
open on it?
it
Opens, it closes.
Blind
it
Tiger, Blind Tiger.
that's it.
They're trying to get it reopened before the 4th. Because
Okay.
they went in and closed the parking down to finish the final touches for all the new waterfront stuff they did.
Right.
And so you got the Blind Tiger there. That'd be a great place. God, what's the place there as you get off I-10 and get off the Bayway on the right?
Oh, yeah, the Cajun place. Boudreaux's.
Boudreaux's. Boudreaux's great view.
Yeah.
Should have thought of
It's
that.
hard to sit out. It's hard to sit outside during the summer, but if you go out there for a little while, when you're drinking in, like
Yeah, got some fans going.
Got some fans going. You can watch the sunset. The problem, the heat of the sun is hitting you directly
So
as it's going down.
at the restaurants originally, the waterfront and Panini Peak Sunset, what is there a specific dish maybe I could suggest?
At Sunset Point, I suggest everyone get the grilled snapper throats.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. The throat and the cheeks are the best parts of pretty much any animal. But because they're a little tricky to work with.
Turkey neck.
Well, yeah. But the flesh is delicious. But it's not as pretty looking on the plate. And the snapper throat has one very large, easy to find bone in it. And I mean, it's quite large. It's like 3-pronged and about almost a 1/2 inch wide.
Wow.
I mean, it's easy to find, and there's just the one. That grilled snapper throat is one of the best dishes on the Gulf Coast. It is phenomenal. Pete will always be doing things. He's got a great team there. They're very creative. So they'll be running specials. It's very seafood oriented. In fact, when Pete opened it up, he didn't want to do any fried seafood at all. And when asked why, he said, there are a lot of restaurants in Mobile and Baldwin County that do fried seafood, and they do a spectacular job of it.
Mm-hmm.
So he wanted to introduce people to other ways to enjoy it. Mm-hmm. Now, you can get the snapper throats fried now. That's one of the options. They have a few other things. But yeah, the grilled snapper throats. As far as the waterfront goes, Mike and I have only been, and both times they were running special menus. Or was it 3 times? There was a grand opening, Guy Fieri, and then the thing
I went to Pete's birthday party, and then I was there recently for, what was that event? Well, we were both there.
Yeah. That was the fundraiser for the Veterans Ranch.
That's right. But yeah, it's always been a special menu. But I've been there for other times. I've been there when it was Yacht Club. It always had a great sunset.
Mm-hmm.
Always had a great sunset. The Bluegill has, they have a great sunset that you get the, not the bay, but you get the Delta
side.
Delta side. So
and there you're going to get the charbroiled oysters.
Yeah. But you get the Delta in the sunset, and you get the backdrop of Mobile. You get all that in one, and it's pretty. It really is pretty.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because in the 50s and 60s, the Causeway was the place in this area. My parents used to go and see the Four Tops and the Spinners performing at restaurants there.
My parents did too. To me, I thought as a young kid, I thought the Causeway was Vegas because they had so many neon signs.
Yeah, it used to be lit up, and there was no bayway then, so that was the main trip. And then when they opened Bel Air Mall, is when business started shifting from downtown Mobile and the Causeway out further west. And the Causeway kind of died off.
Well,
and you pretty much had
hurricanes had something to do with it too.
Yeah. And then there was a resurgence about 20 years ago. Well, now it's dying again.
Yeah, seems to be.
Yeah.
Bluegill's nice. I've been to Bluegill.
Yeah, Bluegill's okay. The Pier 4's still there, but had
our buddy Steve Sucker is now the general manager at Ralph and Cacoo's,
which is good because
they've got a great view of the sunset too.
I have not been to this Ralph and Cacoo's. It's from New Orleans.
Okay.
They have installments as far as Dallas, Texas.
Oh, wow.
One of my favorite restaurants in New Orleans, but all I ever heard from the one here in Mobile was it's everything else on the Causeway is better. It's just okay. So they didn't have a New Orleans chef here. They had someone else who probably didn't understand our cuisine, that if they're trying to do our cuisine, it's going head to head with all these other great places. Steve is a phenomenal chef. If you've eaten at Bob Onheimer's restaurants over the last 20 years, you've eaten. If you've been to Dolphins, Steve was the chef at Dolphins.
He's the executive chef,
and the executive chef over all of Bob Baumhauer's restaurants.
For over 20 years.
Yeah, it was a reward to him for all the wing shacks and stuff that he set up.
Now, Dolphins, I like Dolphins. That's nice.
Yeah, that's outstanding as well, with an incredible view there that can't be matched anywhere else in the area. I mean, you're up the second tallest building in the city. you know, 47th floor looking down
It's all
at the
glass.
bay to the
It's
Mississippi
wide open.
Sound. And,
Yeah.
yeah, so there's another
Okay.
great view right there. I love any kind of restaurant that you can get to without a car. If you can kayak to it, if you can take your bass boat to it, if you know,
Yeah.
like that. And we have a lot of this. Most of the stuff on the causeway is like that. I don't think that Felix's has an access by boat, but bluegill you can. In fact,
I didn't know that.
the original bluegill
Uh-huh.
was not owned by Cooper's Restaurants. It was not located where the bluegill is now. It was on the Appalachian River, and it was a shack over the water.
Is that domed shack?
No,
That's a different one?
it
Okay.
predates that too.
Oh, wow.
And my dad said you could see the water from the delta between the cracks of the boards on the floor.
Oh, wow.
And it was called the bluegill because even though bluegill, which is a game fish,
Mhm.
and it's illegal to serve game fish at a restaurant. That's why you don't see bass or crappie or bluegill
I didn't know
there,
that.
because if they commercially fished them, they'd fish the populations.
Yeah. Oh, that
So
makes
they're
sense.
left for game fishermen. The bluegill would let you pull up on your boat after a fishing trip, and you could bring up some of your bluegill and they fry it up for you.
Very cool.
Yeah. They were doing that you catch it, we cook it thing
Yeah.
decades before anyone else.
Now, you got the pier houses there now, that used to be El Camino, the
Right.
place with a basketball
Which was a
course.
great Mexican restaurant.
Yeah,
Volleyball. Right?
volleyball, yeah. And, but they're leaving Gulf Shores. They've got a place at Gulf Shores, the Pier House, and they took over that place, and they're leaving Gulf Shores because, you know, during the summer it dies, just absolutely dies down there.
Off season.
Off season,
Yeah.
during the winters down there it dies. So they're coming up here where they can get traffic year round.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so they actually do have a good view there.
There was a place
spectacular.
called Fork and Fin. It was down in Orange Beach. They were awesome, but they ran into some problems apparently with the buildings cost every month and the rentals and
Well,
stuff and the lease.
It's owned
And
by
then
the
you go-
ships.
And then they went to Pensacola. Now they don't even exist. It's just
No, they're
sad.
over in their back ships harbor restaurant.
Oh, really?
Is that bad ship?
They're back, Matt Ship.
Yeah, Dr. Bob's son. Yeah.
Very cool.
Very good chef.
Man,
Very
their
good.
mind
I'm hearing
is
nothing but
just-
great things about the new place, Ships. I think it's Harbor Restaurant or something.
Matt is a phenomenal chef.
Yes, and when Matt came to town after going to culinary school and working for the best chefs in New Orleans and some other places, he came here and he was really disheartened because it didn't matter what he tried to cook, everybody wanted it fried. They wanted fried seafood.
Man, when I
he
was at
thought
Lucky,
that.
I was ready to leave Mobile.
Right.
And because everybody wanted every restaurant that had the same menu. They went to Olive Garden, but they wanted it to be Cracker Barrel.
Or Applebee's.
Yeah. They went to Applebee's, they wanted it to be Cracker Barrel. They went to Wenzel's, they wanted it to be Cracker Barrel. And I was so ready to leave Mobile, and then people noticed Food Network and started seeing that there was more to food than just the same five
Right.
dishes you've eaten your entire life.
Well, it's like the mahi, man. The mahi's got this edible purple flour and the asparagus they do in the mashed potatoes. Oh my God. Ooh. I could eat that once a month, twice a month, and be happy all day long.
I get a
Crab
little,
legs,
I hardly order baked or grilled seafood out because I've been served so many times undercooked seafood.
Well, here's the thing. Seafood can't be undercooked. It's impossible. It's ready to eat the second you pull it out of the water.
There's that, yes, but
But you like a firmer texture.
I want a firmer texture, and I don't want to where the
You
guts
want
used to
it
be.
burnt, is what you're saying.
No, I don't want it
You
burnt.
want it
I want
burnt.
it cooked and edible.
Let's see if we can get Jarhead in here and let him do it. Good morning, Jarhead.
Hey, you guys.
Hey, buddy.
Y'all are talking about places to eat on the water, and I was wondering, have you ever been to the original Ezel's Catfish House?
In Choctaw County, Alabama, Coffeyville? Yeah.
Yeah, yes, somewhere up around there. I knew it was up around Jackson, Nicholsville.
Yeah,
somewhere.
it's at Coffeyville near the Lock and Dam.
Yeah.
And yes, I have when I was a little kid.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it's been about that long since I've been there too.
Mhm.
But they used to have the best catfish.
Yes, absolutely. My dad was from Gilberttown in Choctaw County, and we would drive up there every few years just to sit there on the river. I believe it's on the Tom Bigby. And
way above the Tom Bigby. I mean,
Yeah, it is.
maybe the Alabama then.
I just looked it up Thursday. I just looked it up Thursday. And
But yeah,
see where it was at.
fantastic. Great hush puppies. Yeah,
Oh,
Ezel,
my God.
originally Ezel's Catfish Cabin was phenomenal. All right, we got to go to commercial. You want to give us a provolone before you say goodbye?
Provolone.
All right,
Thank you, buddy.
appreciate it, buddy.
I'm gonna go back.
What's Wolf Bay Lodge?
That's a good one too. Well, it's I haven't been to Solid Award. It's over there.
I know they burned down there or something.
It's a magazine showcase the history, style, arts, dining, and entertainment that defines
Well, Owa's
excellence on
water.
both
That's what
sides
it's
of
the
the
Creek word for
Each
water.
month's issue is filled with our unique Southern
They
Alabama
have
culture,
a
beautifully
water
captured and
fountain.
told through engaging
There
articles.
there you go. There's your water view.
When you subscribe to
Anything
Mobility
like Mike
Magazine,
was
you'll be
saying
swept into
is
the pages
on
where
the strip
recipes,
there in Gulf
familiar
Shores,
places,
Orange
and
Beach, of
faces,
course, it's
and
going to have
untold
you.
stories abound.
What
Start
else
your journey
on
today
Fort
by
Morgan?
visiting
Fort Morgan, you got
mobilebaymag.com.
Jesse's.
That's mobilebaymag.com.
Kentucky.
Value Fashion
Yeah,
would like to
and
thank those
what
who
is
placed
the other one I'm
themselves on
thinking?
the front
You
lines
got the
to make
Beach
our
Club.
communities safe.
This one's all the way,
Give
it's
up
the
time with your
closest
family
one to the
working in
ferry.
difficult conditions.
Well,
Give
that
up
may
the
be
weekends
Jesse's
and holidays.
or
We
Kentucky.
serve
It
and
used to
protect
be.
others.
It used to
We
be.
remember it's the land of the free because of our break.
Twice
It
use
used
the
to be
Sleep Number
Tacky
Smart
Jack.
Bed.
That's what I was thinking.
It still is.
My
Though.
side firmer.
Yeah,
10 weeks
Tacky
free
Jack.
cooler.
That was really good.
Sleep Number does that.
Didn't they
Cools
put
up to
one
8
here
times
before?
faster
Was
and
there
lets you
one of them?
choose
Yeah,
your
it's
ideal
gonna
comfort
cost
on
me
either
more
side.
than.
Your
It's
Sleep
on
Number
by.
sale. It's the Sleep
That's when
Number 4th of July sale. Save
Tattoo
$600
guy
on
came
our
in there and
King
put
P5
text
smart bed.
message in.
Our low
Oh
price
yeah.
place
Oh yeah.
limited time.
Which
All
was
Sleep
okay.
Number smart beds offer
Yeah,
temperature solutions for
there's
you
nothing
best
there
sleep.
now.
Check it out.
Yeah,
Sleep
no,
Number
thank you,
store
Jack.
or sleepnumber.com
This is
today.
the lady who Confucius was a
Are
foodie.
you paying
She
too
does
much
a
for
show on
terminal life
Create
insurance?
Channel.
A managed
And
50
she was talking
non-tobacco
about
user
the
can obtain
French influence.
$500,000 of coverage
Which
for as little
I
as
mean,
$110 per month. Level
there
rate for
was.
20
I mean,
years.
the
That's
French
right,
colonized
guaranteed level
all
rate
through
for
that
20
area.
years.
The
If you're a smoker, there are
Spanish
great
had
rates
the
available for you
Philippines.
as
There
well.
was still
Call
a huge
Turnbusters for
Spanish
a quote.
influence on that,
1-800-908-7636.
especially in the food. Another one,
You're
dish on the
probably
island,
paying more than
in
you
the
should.
islands
Call
there is chicken adobo.
1-800-706-3636.
It's not
Remember,
the same
call
chicken adobo
Turnbusters
that you have in Mexico.
1-800-908-7636.
But it does have
Why isn't it?
Classics and required phone
because
number.
they're
Rates,
Philippines.
policy forms, and availability vary
It's going
by
to have
state.
more
Did you know
aging.
life
The
insurance rates for near
adobo
record
is a
lows?
seasoning
If you own
blend
life insurance,
that they
or
would
if you're
cook the
thinking of
chicken in.
buying
They
any,
do it there in the
why spend
Philippines,
more
but
than you
there's a
have to?
second.
Since
The other
1986,
national dish in the
AccuQuote has
Philippines
helped literally
is
millions
sisig,
of people just like
SISIQ.
you save a fortune on their life insurance.
Still
Here's how
Tacky
they
Jack?
do it.
Yeah.
They
And
monitor
that's
the
on
products offered by dozens of
Barnes
the
and Noble.
respected branded
Yeah.
life insurance
A week's
companies
pay.
you trust,
The week's
so that you
coming
get
up.
the
So
lowest
you
rates.
said
Chips
For example,
is the
a healthy
new
40-year-old can buy
Chips.
$500,000 of 10-year level terms
Yeah,
for
chips,
less than
what?
$20 a month. 20 and 30 rates are
SHIPPS.
also available. Don't forget to
His
ask them
father
about the new
was
term life plans
the
that
leading
guarantee your
marine
money back,
biologist in
even
the
if you
world.
outlive your policy. Take
Where's
5
the
minutes
Chernobyl?
and call AccuQuote for your
In
free
the
quote.
area.
Call
Where is it, Mike?
1-800-318-1787.
Back
Find
on
out how
Canal
much you
Road.
can save on
Okay,
your life
so either
insurance.
Orange Beach
Call
or Gulf Shores.
AccuQuote today at
Oh, this is Mobile Bay.
1-800-318-1787.
Well,
Jack.
That's
Okay.
right.
Bonds of
Ship's
Bay
dockside, okay.
is
1787.
this.
Get the
Right.
latest
Chips
news on
dockside.
Auburn,
So it's right.
Alabama,
So
and
it's still on
USA
Mobile.
Sports News.
Chip dockside.
Now the thing with that Tacky Jack is you can go to Dolphin Island, take the
With
ferry
Bill
over,
Norwig,
and
only
not
on
have a
Mobile
2-hour drive.
Mornings. They are the dynamic duo of dining. Sip and chew with Mike and Stu. Call 343-0106. Now back to Mike and Stu.
Hey, that's us.
So,
So tell me.
I ate catfish last night. We're talking about Ezell's because
Yeah.
I'm intrigued. I do want to go to Ezell's to try it.
Yeah.
I had catfish last night.
At the Rocky Creek in Loosedale, Mississippi.
We were on our way there, and then all of a sudden the sky
Yeah,
just dropped on
I
us.
saw that same storm.
And
I was
it's
at work,
like
and
unbelievable how it rained, and then the place was, everybody was wet on the inside. I got cold, but the food was still delicious, and I had pecan pie
yeah,
for my dessert.
yeah.
So
And it's a beautiful drive. Once you get off of 98,
mhm.
that country drive is very nice. You go down Rocky Creek Road for probably a couple of miles, and you hang a right on another road. I don't remember the name. And then you're just in the middle of this Mississippi rolling farmland.
Yeah.
And there's a catfish house.
Beautiful area.
The building itself is not gorgeous, but it's a catfish.
I talked to Mr. Jimmy, who owns it. He's had it for 29 years.
Yeah, it is.
So he was a very pleasant gentleman, and
probably seats. Would you say about 500? Right in that.
Probably can.
Yeah,
they had some other rooms.
Yeah, there are lots of rooms.
Yeah.
Graduation for George County High School, they get wrapped up.
Yeah, they had some big parties last night.
Yeah, and I told Mike on his next excursion, he doesn't have to go quite as far as Lucedale.
Mm-hmm.
It's Loaves and Fishes in Tanner Williams.
I'm gonna go there next,
and they are equally as good. I like their catfish batter better, but my buddy Kevin likes Rocky Creek's catfish batter.
Let me tell you what. Thursday, I guess I'm on catfish craze. Thursday, Friday, I went to Clovis Cafe in Fairhope.
Mm-hmm.
She's from Memphis. Tanya is from Memphis, and she has catfish or spaghetti on there. And I like mine together.
Is it Memphis spaghetti, which is made with barbecue and pulled pork?
I don't know. But no, it's just regular spaghetti. But I like my catfish and
your spaghetti
together. But I didn't do it this time.
Yeah.
But the catfish, huge pieces, deliciously battered and seasoned. Oh,
and you said she was getting hers out of a farm in Mississippi.
Yeah, she gets hers out of the Mississippi Delta farm over there. And I've driven through some of those farms, and they're quite impressive. Yeah. And the other thing that they have, those those catfish farms have are crawfish,
right?
And they're just they got signs that say crawfish crossing, and you can just ride. You have to ride over them because there's millions of them in the road. You just got to keep going.
Wow, well, it bugs, man. It's just insects.
That's it.
Yeah.
So is that roadkill?
Have you ever heard of Cajun roadkill stew?
No.
When they were going to their hunting shacks, way out away from everything, every time they saw a dead animal on the road, they would stop and spray paint a circle around it. They'd get all the way to their hunting camp, and then whoever the newbie was had to go back a couple of miles, and everything that didn't have a circle around it was fresh.
Oh my gosh.
Gather that up, bring it in, we'll make stew out of it.
Wow.
Could be raccoon, could be rabbit, could be squirrel, armadillo.
I've had some armadillo.
I've not had armadillo. Luke tried to get in a fight with one the other night on a walk. He wanted a piece of that armadillo, and I'm like, you ain't gonna get any part of it.
No. Yeah, that was an interesting taste. And
I can imagine.
Put some Creole seasoning with it.
I bet you David Hubble will tell us if they've had at the boucherie over at John Pulse's place over in Baton Rouge, outside of Baton Rouge, if they've had armadillo over there. And I know we've had rooster and
I've had raccoon. And it's it's one of those. It's like, if you're starving, it's fine.
Yeah. No, but I know why they have all those seasonings and spices at the Cajun.
That's right.
Well, the raccoon really, the biggest thing with the raccoon is they're just a pain to kill. They've got 17 of these little nodes all around their body, and if you don't get those out, it's just like eating pure adrenaline.
Oh, nice.
And so yeah. And the flavor is not that good. It's even milder than chicken. Wow. So yeah, it's a starvation thing.
Now there is a restaurant over in Alberta called Roadkill Cafe.
Yes,
they have a buffet. They have a buffet over
there. Yeah, I bet they got sausage on the menu.
I could,
because that Alberta is a good town to get. It's like every little convenience store you walk into. Oh, we got a sausage counter here too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you go to Robertsdale and you go to Red's Hot Dogs. And
he's got something called a sausage festival.
Yeah, they have two a year.
One's Oktoberfest, the other one's the Alberta sausage.
Yes, but you go to Red's Hot Dogs and he has an Alberta sausage on them. He's got a German sausage.
Isn't Kelly's made in Alberta? I don't know. With the 4-leaf clover on it. And folks, with your eyes closed, you can't tell Kelly's from Conecuh.
Really?
Yeah, they look and taste almost identical. If you're that fixated on it, it's there's so many great. We are blessed to live in a region that the rest of the country doesn't have, where we take smoked sausage seriously. Alabama, Mississippi, parts of Louisiana. The rest of the country is eating Oscar Mayer and thinking that's smoked sausage.
Or it's kind of like the Pepsi Coke test,
or Johnson.
Yeah, Johnsonville.
And isn't it owned by Chinese?
I don't know. It's based out of Wisconsin.
Wisconsin sounds cheesy.
I ate at a place this week, more up Steve's alley, but you should do it one day when you want a healthy lunch but you want to cheat and have dessert. Soul Bowls in Spring Hill has two things on their menu: bowls and smoothies.
Right.
But they're all based in what's called superfruits, like dragon fruit, acai. Yeah, the one always gets an acai bowl. They start with the frozen fruit pureed, so it's basically like sherbet.
Mm-hmm.
Put that in the bottom of the bowl, and then they have different things they top it with.
And,
They have a flaxseed granola, which is their granola. They drizzle a little honey on it. There's one in Fairhope as well, and I think one in Gulf Shores. It is just so good and so refreshing.
And it's filling.
Right. And I don't know how someone would eat the large bowl.
I don't either.
I get the small every time I'm there, and I'm like, that's just perfect.
And you're done till at least 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get it at 8, yeah.
Yeah. And boy, if you've been out doing stuff in the hot sun, man, it's really, really refreshing.
But what about Empanola Mobile, right next door?
Have not tried it. Empanada.
Huh?
Yeah, empanada.
No, it's Nola because they're out of New Orleans, I think.
Oh, have not tried it, but if they're doing New Orleans style hand pies,
They're hand pies, and they got their names, whatever the meat pie is or whatever.
I guess I'll have to try that.
It's branded on the.
I guess I know where I'm going when I leave Butch's tomorrow.
Let's see if they're open tomorrow.
Well, it's Monday. I hope so. Today would be the day I don't think they would be open. But I do encourage people to Soul Bowls. It's really, really good.
Yeah, I got introduced to them a couple of years back, and
Same here.
they're worth it.
Yeah, and like I say, it's a case where you can have lunch, dessert for lunch. Ooh, beef Argentina.
Mm.
But it's a place where you can have dessert for lunch and not feel guilty. I always joke when people call into a bar restaurant, and they're ordering lunch. Go, what can I get for you for lunch? I just want a piece of key lime pie. And I always tell them, you ever go, don't worry, sweetheart, you'll meet somebody one day.
That'll buy your lunch.
No, that's usually when someone's eating a dessert for their meal, they're sad. They usually have just broken up with somebody.
Yeah.
The whole, I'm going to eat a whole gallon of
cream or
Ben and Jerry's ice cream. So that's the joke there. Don't worry, sweetheart, you'll meet somebody one day.
Don't think I won't even go there. I'm gonna be
First sitting there. Folks, get out there, support local, be local, buy local,
sniff local,
eat catfish local, eat that Mississippi catfish,
Alabama catfish too.
And eat steak like this song says.
Oh, and one more thing: eat, roll along.
Roberta Duray and 82 before a fight, 'cause it gets
I see where you get.